All right, everyone, welcome to the February 26 Course 7 brands with December as well. We will get started with our wine director, Kate White, to detail our wine brands. Kate, take it away.
Yes, detail, strong word in there as I have a whole lot of wines and 10 minutes, but we're going to give as thorough as an overview as possible.
You can go a little
Reiterate,
over if you need to.
okay. Reiterating that anything you sold of these items in December counts and we appreciate you, but January, February for sure, what we're after. All right. We're going to start with C stores. So those of you on that list that Mike Glover puts out, this is for you. You have the alcoholic product for the Core 7. Our feature is Redneck Wines. Redneck Wines are a whopping two items. It is the same juice in two sizes of not necessarily a bottle, but a flask. We'll get to that shortly. There is a 750 and a 375. Redneck Wines would like you to know that they are party approved, especially because they are 20% ABV. All right, back to that container. This is not a classic bottle. This is a flask shape. They want you to fit it in your pocket. They want you to fit it in your purse. It is shatterproof. That is the most diplomatic way to say plastic I have ever heard in my life. So please, wherever you might find that there is a contingent for people who need this, take them Redneck Wines. All right, this might be a surprise to a lot of you, but there are no artificial flavors or colors. I like that, and that these facts make Redneck Wines stand out in the high ABV category. I'm not upset to tell you that when I tried this wine, it's good. I mean, it really tastes like wine. It tastes like wine that has been fortified with 180 proof brandy, which it has. All right, moving down the list here, it is semi-sweet. They have to throw some residual sugar in there because it balances out the high ABV, and it can be had straight or over ice. Either way, you win. And then ultimately, and I think this is somewhat obvious, Redneck Wines, with all of their marketing, is all about kicking back and not taking life too seriously. All right, I kept it simple there, but straightforward. Good luck to our C-Store team, and I hope you do well with Redneck Wines. All right, so for the broad market, rest of the sales force, we have three major categories of non-alcoholic wines to focus on. Zaccagnini, Zero Proofs Oddbird, and then Zero Proofs St. Viviana. I wanted to start with the Zaccagnini because it is the newest of our zero alcohol wines. Just two of them. I really appreciate that Zaccagnini kept this simple and straightforward. They have a white wine and a red. When you go, and these will be posted to Patrick's Drive folder, they're very ambiguous about what grapes are in these, and I honestly think it's for the best. When you're out in the market, I would recommend not trying to be specific. These are all indigenous Italian grapes that are used in these, so maybe best not to go into the ins and outs of exactly what they are anyhow. All right, let's go over the highlights. These are 100% Abruzzo grapes. I think a huge asset for us is that Zaccagnini is already an established brand in the market. Familiarity sometimes is what the Savannah wine portfolio doesn't have, but heaven forbid, in this one, it totally works in your favor. People like the stick, they've seen it before. And on a menu, it might be advantageous to sell this non-alcoholic zero point zero wine. And let's see, female winemaker, bonus point, she's hilarious and lots of fun. They are using vacuum distillation, which so far in the market for non-alcoholic wines, this is the way to go. They have the wine as cool as possible and are essentially catching the phenols and esters that give wine its smell and flavor, and then putting them back into the wine after the alcohol is removed. And the last two are points here are highly tied together. I think that this is handily the best non-alcoholic wine I have ever tried. It should weigh heavily to you that when I went to Vin Italy and I tried hundreds of wines over the course of several days, one of my takeaways from this huge event was, in fact, how good this non-alcoholic wine is, because I have never tried a non-alcoholic wine that I really felt like it knocked it out of the park. This is it. Flavors on point, bonus points. It's very competitively priced. Um, so good luck. Fun here. It also mixes and matches into the wines you pricing portfolio. To moving on from Zaccagnini 0.0. All right. This next group you are very familiar with. This is the Odd Bird portfolio. There have been a fair number of changes and there have been some additions, but the steadies are still here. We've got a Blanc de Blanc sparkling white, a rosé, there's a red blend and a white blend. There is a can, and then there is an orange wine. So familiarize yourself with all of them. These are fine wines. Oddbird is the best selling non-alcoholic wine worldwide. No surprise, and does very well in our portfolio. All right, so female founded. Uh, this particular brand has no bones about sharing that they were developed specifically because people struggle with alcohol. That is the founder's, motivator to be in the world. Let's see. I already went over the fact that they're the world's leading producer of dealcoholized wine. They really enjoy taking a very European approach to producing their products. It's natural, low intervention winemaking. They care about terroir. They're sourcing their grapes very wisely. No pesticides and no additives are used while making Oddbird. And they are maybe arguably, but I would put them as a forerunner of the vacuum distillation process. They put it on the map for sure and tote it wherever they can because they should. It's an excellent way to make dealcoholized wine. All right. Noteworthy and new things you might want to know about Oddbird, despite the fact that we have been selling it for quite some time. The sparkling cans recently moved to a 12 pack from a 24. So please note that when you are in Encompass, look for the 12 pack, not the 24. That's where the inventory is at. This middle one is important. Their new orange wine, new to us, is very pricey. I'm not saying you can't sample it, but I want you to be very particular about where you take it and just pull in a sample. This wine is over $35 wholesale. So if you are headed to, an account that doesn't move high-end wine, this is not where you need to be. And actually, I might have lied. It's not 35 wholesale, but might market for 35 and more. So just be aware of the pricing on the orange. And then this last note, I get this question a lot. The GSM is obvious. It's Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre about what's in the blend, but the presence is a little more ambiguous. And I want everybody to know right now that it's Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Sylvaner, Viognier, and Sauvignon. This is notable because in the world of non-alcoholic wine, we're just fighting for any kind of flavor and aroma like wine as possible. So what they've done here is really smart. They've thrown in uh, three very highly aromatic wines, the Riesling, Gewürz, and Viognier. So that is what puts this white blend above others in the non-alcoholic wine category. Okay. We are lucky to have an Oddbird rep locally. I couldn't find a highly pixelated picture of Grant, but here is one poorly pixelated picture of Grant. He is in the Atlanta area. He is a nice guy. He is not an embarrassment to take chair accounts. And in fact, I think he really is one of our higher end suppliers as far as market savvy is concerned. And his contact information is on this slide. All right, moving on, another zero proof item for us, St. Viviana. St. Viviana is uh, a short, sweet trio of products for us. It's the sparkling Chardonnay. This is your other can option that we have for a non-alcoholic wine. So just quick note, there's the Oddbird sparkling white wine in a 200 ml, and then the St. Viviana sparkling Chardonnay is in a 250 ml. So those are the can options. And then a Sauvignon Blanc and a Cab Sauv. This is handy in the market when people want a specific varietal. That's what St. Viviana does for us, is allow for when people want, a very classic specific varietal. Okay. Highlights here. St. Viviana named after the patron saint of hangovers, which is St. Bibiana. It is also alcohol removed. It is vegan friendly, gluten free, low calorie, and low sugar. So, as opposed to Oddbird making a plea to the market for alcohol consumption and social forwardness, uh, Viviana is coming at you from more of a health standpoint. And I believe that's it. Like, it's that short and easy. How did I do on time?
You pretty much nailed it.
Okay, it's the best I could do.
This
If
is
anybody has specifics, of course, you can call and ask, and we'll have more items for Patrick's drive forward.
all right. Just confirming 3 bottles on a slash 1 case is a pod. That is correct. 3 bottles is a pod,
Mhm.
both off premise and odd for wine.
Mhm. And Patrick, there is a curveball here. Some of these items, especially the cans, are available by case only. So that those cans, I imagine one case is, of course, a pod.
That is correct.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. All right, up
Yep.
next we got Jason with our craft spirits team to go over our spirits brands.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you everyone for being here. We've got myself, Jason Walton, Craft Spirits Manager, and Cheryl here. We're going to go over your craft spirits items for January, February. I'm going to share this. One moment. Don't laugh, Cheryl. All right. Take it away, Cheryl.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Just click the slideshow button on the top right.
Where?
There.
There it is.
All right, looks good.
Okay, so we have 3 categories for you guys today. I'm going to start with tequila. You guys have 6 brands to choose from. I believe there are 12 SKUs. We are. I can switch it to the next one. These are all going to be focusing on small sizes, so 100 mLs, 200 mLs, and 375s. I think you guys are all pretty familiar with the 3 brands that we have listed for you, so I kind of just gave you a couple little notes under each brand. I did upload a couple of things to the drive for you guys, which I'll send out in the morning. One of them is a Tequila 101 that I just put together for an account a couple weeks ago that just kind of has some general information about the different extraction processes, different areas or regions. So I'll send that out to you guys in the morning, but it's on the drive. And then I also added a really great presentation that Activo sent me that has some general tequila knowledge on it, and then also goes into depth on their different brands. So there's just, like I said, some highlights on each one of those tequilas for you. And then this is just a little pricing chart that has the sizes, the different SKUs that are counting, and then the bottle prices with their different deals on it.
All right, me. All right. It's my turn, guys. I'm talking about Citadel here. A lot of you should be familiar with Citadel. It is from the Ferrand company. So, the same makers as Ferrand Curacao, Ferrand Cognac, Plantaray Rum. This is their gin. It is considered by some the first craft gin created. It was first developed in 1996. The name comes from where they found the recipe for the original Citadel. which was on the coast of France near Dunkirk in an old castle or citadel. That recipe was a London dry style because it was exported from there to England, where most gin was consumed back then. So you've got juniper as the dominating flavor there. So you're thinking that pine tree flavor, but it's also accented with orange peel, Szechuan, peppercorn, cardamom, lemon, a lot of those other classic gin flavors, and then a few extra ones like sunflower to mix it up a little bit. So you've got a few different SKUs that are available for Core 7. You've got Citadel Original, then you've got Rouge, which is the newest addition of the portfolio. That is kind of a red berry flavor, which is going to be like raspberries, cranberry, very like leans into the fall winter as well. So should be an easy one as the weather's still cold out. And then you have the Jardin d'été, which is the third. That is going to be more of a spring summer flavored product with melon, lemon, other citrus, yuzu, even orange. So like think brighter, more citrus forward version of the original. All are based on that original recipe. However, let's see here. You've got all of them listed here. So you've got two different sizes for the Jardin. So you've got the liters and the 750s available. And then you've got for the regular, you've got half gallons, liters, and 750s. And then Rouge, it only comes in that 700 ml. Another thing to note as when people are tasting these, they'll notice that the body of these is a little richer than most gins, so it lends itself to a little bit of an easier drinking experience. That's due to the fact that these are all made in the same stills that they use to make cognac, those big copper pot stills. So it makes a more delicious product. We've got all the deals listed here. These are bottle ones. Everything's in a pretty great price point, and they've all got a 6-bottle deal as well. And then the liters come in at this 18-bottle deal that gets down to $23. We've also got a 5-case deal. Y'all do not forget about this. We worked hard to get this in the system. This 5-case deal mixes and matches with all of the brands, and that you get one free goods case on that 5-case, and that will be the half gallons of original Citadel. So 5 + 1 Citadel original as the free goods, half gallon.
Really quickly, Patrick, on these small size tequilas, do you happen to know what a pot is? Because I forgot to ask that earlier.
1 bottle.
Even for
On the small formats, that's a Mike Glover question. We've had this before. I have to check, but it's at least 3 bottles.
Okay. So guys, I'll reach out and get clarification on that and put in an email for you guys.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, moving on to Hanjan. So everyone has heard of Hanjan Damso. They are market leaders in the hot soju category. Soju is a spirit out of Korea. Georgia's got a huge Korean population. So these are doing well for us across the board. It's also because of K-pop. The younger generation is really into K-pop, and that influences their drinking habits. They're drinking soju. So first one, Hanjan here. This is beer. This is wine-based. So you can sell this in anyone with a beer and wine account or liquor account, obviously, but this has got a wider market appeal for you. So you can do this in, your C stores if you need to, if you want to. We've got, we're doing the top 5 flavors that will count towards Core 7. That's peach, strawberry, apple, original, and lychee. Lychee is having a moment, so do not sleep on that. People are loving lychee right now, so be a good focus for you to pitch that one. Damso is our liquor-based soju, and we're focusing on the original watermelon, strawberry, lychee, and peach. And again, liquor-based, so obviously only your liquor on-premise and liquor store accounts. Here's pricing. Bottle 1, they're all about the same. Damso's got a little bit higher price point there, but not much. There's a 3-case deal on it, and then a 5-case, and then Hanjan's got a 10-case and a 60-case. So review that at your leisure, and good luck out there.
Be sure to pitch the Hanjans to your gas stations with that 16% ABV. A lot of those gas stations like to have the high ABV stuff, so it can make it easy to sell for you guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Spirits team. Beard team is up next. Jessica, Joanna, Gordon. I'm not sure who's leading.
I am here, Joanna.
Hi, Joanna. How are you?
I am doing good.
Oh,
Let
great
me
stuff.
share my screen and we'll get going. All right. One second. You guys see this presentation?
I could see it, but please put it in presentation mode.
I'm working on it. My little bar is gone. Huh.
That looks fine.
Just don't know where.
Yeah, it looks like you have something hidden.
Yeah. Hold on one second, guys. Something is hidden. There we go. Yes. All right, guys. So the focus brands for this next coming course 7 from the beer, RTD, and THC department. We're just going to discuss that right now. I'm sure it's already been talked about, but we are running this through January, February, but you guys have the option to sell in December to get ahead of your January, February goals, which is great for all of these brands, and I will tell you why. So just to break it out for you a little bit, on the main course 7, we've got Craft House, Go Brewing, and Athletic on-premise only. And then for the C-store course 7, we'll have Athletic, Go Brewing, and Delta. So those products are going to be in those individual categories for course 7. So let's talk a little bit about Craft House cocktails. Most of you guys probably know we've had Craft House for quite a few years, honestly, before the term RTD was really booming. So, pre-pandemic and all of that stuff. So with this Craft House, kind of what I want to do is almost just reintroduce it to the market, to you guys, etc. Those of you that were able to join me a couple Fridays ago for the tasting, I think we all agreed that these formulations are absolutely stellar. The new cans versus those kind of resealable aluminum bottles, the cans and the cartons that they're packed in just look really nice and just have a much more elevated feel than they used to. They have won the most double golds for an RTD at the San Francisco Wine and Spirits Convention. Double blind or double gold requires unanimous blind judging, which is really awesome. So they've got gold and silver medals across the portfolio, and it's the official RTD of United Airlines. I know we're kind of, definitely a Delta hub here in Atlanta, but I think we've all seen the success of, Tip Top, for instance, that had a few years on Delta as the official RTD of that airline. So, when you think about what that did for Tip Top, I think out in the market, that's just a really good example of what we hope to kind of see with Craft House as well. Craft House partners with some spirits that we know and love. We've got Brovo in one of the cocktails, the Moonlighter cocktail, which has a vodka vermouth base. And then we have Plantaray in the rum-based cocktails. So you guys know those spirits, you know the quality of them. These folks are not, cutting corners or anything like that when it comes to the ingredients and just putting whatever that makes sense. Cost-wise, they're also looking at major quality as well. Here are the SKUs that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing the spicy margarita, pineapple daiquiri, Paloma, Moscow Mule, the Moonlighter, which again, that one's kind of new. So it's a vodka-based cocktail. It's a little bit of lavender and vermouth. It's absolutely delightful. And then the espresso martini, which you guys know is a super hot flavor right now. We've got case 1 at $94.88 and it deals down. And then we also have a free goods deal, 3 cases on $15 that gets it down even further, gets it down to right under $80 a case, which is pretty aggressive. This is a great time of year for these, like you saw in that first image we've just, this is a great little pack to gift or to take with you to a party or whatever the case might be. So really good time to get these out and about. I've got some POS that just arrived outside of my office door. So I've got some counter pieces, and then also some case stackers as well. So we'll have plenty of POS, shelf talkers, window clings as well. And there's local market support. Any questions on Craft House so far, guys? Nope, cool. And just a reminder with Craft House, we're not trying to go after Tip Top necessarily with this brand. They work very simultaneously together in the store. These are more, highball style drinks, where Tip Top are more stirred style drinks. So when it comes to where they can play in the market, they can play right alongside of Tip Top. All right. Next, we'll talk about Go Brewing. You guys will remember we launched Go Brewing about the same time last year in order to get them in for that Core 7 focus and also for Dry January. This is the Go Brewing mission about crafting the best non-alc beer on the planet, which they are striving to do on a daily basis. Something cool about Go Brewing is they are High Rocks participants. So they're the main water sponsor, funny enough, but they also bring beer to each one of these incredible activities. We've hosted this High Rocks convention, essentially. We've hosted that here in Atlanta twice already this year. And we were able to share some awesome retail partners with those guests looking to find Go Brewing across the state. So that is a huge, High Rocks is kind of like similar to CrossFit from what I understand. So it has quite the cult following. Here's just some visuals from last time they were here in Atlanta. And the SKUs and pricing will have their DIPA, the Sunshine State Tropical IPA. We've also got the Sunbeam Pills, which is won a gold award recently for taste for best tasting non-alc Pilsner. I'll have some more information about that to share with you guys. And then the New School Berry Sour is an awesome one to kind of get in, especially if you are looking for on-premise. There really isn't a whole lot of non-alc sour on the market, especially that tastes really delicious. And then the new SKU we added recently is the Disarm Hazy IPA, which also won an award this year at GABF, which is the Great American Beer Festival. Any questions on Go? All right, cool. We've got some amazing LEDs in stock. Please bill those out to some good accounts, and plenty of print and whatever you need, POS wise, print wise, that's custom or whatnot. Just let me know. But we'll have a ton of other signage and things available in the POS room. Next, let's talk about athletic a little bit. We're hitting the high points on this presentation. These are the things that you can walk in and sell right away. Number one NA craft brand in the country. That's, that number one thing to walk into an account with. Extensive SKU lineup. The SKUs tend to perform really well right next to each other as well. So not only is it a nice billboarding effect, but it also helps boost sales. Strong on-premise focus, which you guys have seen a lot of this year, especially with our local support. And their leading innovation in NA beer. They just opened a massive brewery to continue the good work that they're doing here in the craft industry. This is a great little side of selling data. Number one brand in the growth segment. 93% of athletic customers are drinkers. I think that's important to know. This is not just for people that are teetotaling or, wanting to quit drinking. It's for people that still really enjoy beer and enjoy the social aspect of beer, but maybe just want to cut down on the alcohol intake. And we are up over 20% over last year with this brand, which is absolutely unheard of in the beer world, especially on the craft side. And, we should be super proud when we take this brand into new accounts. And then lastly, on the athletic, I just have the SKU grid and the pricing included here. Additionally, you'll see throughout this little presentation that I've highlighted some SKUs. generally those are the top selling ones. So, I highlighted the two 19.2s that could be of use in that course 7 for C-Store. And then, of course, the Run Wild is kind of the number one, but we also have the Cerveza Athletica, which is an excellent kind of copper style Mexican ale. We have the light as well for people that are looking for something a little bit more beer flavored. We'll have the seasonal as part of this as well, Upside Down, which is a golden ale. And then the Free Wave Hazy is going to be part of that. Any questions on athletic, you guys? Okey-dokey. All right. And last but not least, again, this does kind of fall, it's going to fall in that C-Store category. But this is a great brand that you guys should be super proud of in any account that has a hemp license. This is our number 2 SKU in our book, right after Crescent. Nationally, they are outperforming so many other brands that are big leaders in the category as well. They are very much about quality. They want the consistency to be one of the reasons why people gravitate towards their products. I think that's going to be something we see a little bit more of when it comes to the hemp beverage category. People are going to look for the effects of the THC beverage to be consistent. You don't want to drink one of these and not really know the effects that you're going to get. So we'll definitely be seeing that a lot more. No sugar, alcohol, or calories, natural flavors, predictable experience. So we've got the 5 milligrams and the 10 milligrams. They all mix into the hemp family deals. The bright berry in the 5s is the top selling of the 5s. And then in the 10s, the pink lemonade is really right up there with blood orange, kind of neck and neck for how much we sell of those two flavors. And there are plenty of samples if you need them, and we'll have more as they deplete. All right. Any questions on any of those products? Looks like a no. All right, guys. Well, I'll share this along with all the sales sheets, and don't hesitate if you have any questions about these in particular, or if you need any support, before the holidays even to get out there. All of these items are perfect for this time of year and going into dry January with the non-alc and the THC side. So I appreciate y'all listening. Have a good one.
Thank you, Joanna. All right. Next is Matt Chitwood with the chain team for the chain brands. Share my screen. Ready for you when you are.
Alrighty, Patrick. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. I will be going over your Core 7 December through February C-Store focus items. These are 2 new brands to us this year. Starting out with the new 100% tropical juice. This is a brand 100% fruit juice, no added sugars, gluten-free, non-GMO, and 100% vegan. No other juice in the market has all these criterias right here. Either you're going to see packed with sugar, artificial flavors, or artificial coloring. So the liquid is phenomenal. A great deal for a C-store. Comes in a 16-ounce can, 24 pack. Definitely the way to go if we're trying to take over the juice store. I do want to mention, I know this is a C-store focused item, but if we could get this in front of some on-prem accounts, I definitely think we could take some juice business away. Patrick, next slide. And we currently carry 8 flavors: cranberry, dragon fruit, lychee, mango, orange, passion fruit, pink guava, and watermelon. These do come in a 24 pack, so a case one is $48. There is a 5 case deal, $43.92, a 10 case deal for $42.24, and a 15 case deal for $39.54. Suggested retail, depending on what deal structure your account buys, we're looking at a $219 to $299 retail. For a C-store item, this is a sweet spot for buyers. And before we move on, does anyone have any questions about Venu? Okay, Patrick, next.
What's its competitive set? What else is there like this?
So Pocus, a brand that we currently carry, as you OKF, has a competitor brand for this, but the competitors we're going after are like Ocean Spray or Minute Maid, some of the big dogs that you see in the C-store, juice store.
Okay.
You don't ever really see anything outside of those mainstream brands. But to have something like this with such a deal, I think we could definitely take a little piece of the pie. Up next is another new brand for us here at Savannah, Culture Pop Soda. Culture Pop soda, as you guys know, Olipop and Poppy run the gamut here in the state of Georgia for better for you sodas, but we picked up one that is in the top five better for you sodas nationally with Culture Pop. So now we have two of the top five, which is great to have in our portfolio. Culture Pop is made with organic fruit juice. There's billions of live probiotics in each can. No refined sugars, low calories, and a plant-based drink. Next. So currently we have five flavors: black cherry, grape, orange and mango, strawberry and watermelon. They do have a more um, they do have more flavors. But these are the five that were the best sellers and that we wanted to start off with in our book. Pricing's decent. So case one, 1970, 5K still is 1690. There is a free goods deal in the month of December. A buy three, get one watermelon free, and that stacks once. Go buy six, get two watermelon free. So when you're talking to your retailers, let them know about the free goods deal to see if we can get it in there. And I will be asking to push this through January and February as well. Um, so I'll send an email out once I get the green light from the supplier, and we can extend that free goods deal for our customers. Suggested retail looking for 249 to 319, sweet spot per can. I definitely think this will compete in the C-store world next to Poppy and Olipop. Any questions on Culture Pop? Alrighty. Thanks, Patrick. That's all I got.
Thank you, Matt. All right, team. That's the lineup today. I'm gonna stop my share. And any questions about any of the brands? Anything at all that we need to finish with? Cool. I have one note from Floody about one clerical issue. Especially this time of year, we have a lot of add unscheduled invoice billing. When you are pressing the button, add unscheduled invoice, when you are billing outside of your normal routed day, use the route to next scheduled delivery day. If you do it any other way, it adds an extra step for the warehouse, and that's how things get missed. So when billing an off day delivery or when billing on another day, when we have an altered delivery schedule, this is especially relevant. Add unscheduled invoice, route to next scheduled delivery. I'm gonna type that. Route to next scheduled delivery. That's the button you want to press. Very cool. All right, team. That's it. Thank you very much for your participation. Have a great holiday season. Go sell some Cheetos. Cheers.